All right, we're going to take a look at how to create our own profile in Just Doors. A profile is a series of profiled router bits designed for making MDF doors that have an offset, allowing us to toolpath the vectors on the line. And this will ultimately give us a profile toolpath cut. So let's just take a look at Tools, then Set Up Profile, and we will look at one of the predefined profiles that we have listed here. So these tops and bottoms and the sides are the offsets from the outside edge of the door. So in this case, we're offsetting a negative direction for an edge. Then we have two other offsets used for the stile and rail, along with the selected bit or the profile of that cutter being selected in the drop-down box. So let's take a look at the nesting of what this door looks like. We have our feature list, which is listing all of the features that are within our nested set of vectors. So we have a raised panel that is selected here. That's when we would go through and toolpath it, again on the line. A stile, then we have the edge that is the outside. The perimeter cut is used for the actual cutting out of the door, which in this case is 14 7/8 by 29 7/8, or 29 7/8. So let's go back over into Just Doors. I'm going to close the nesting and take a look at how to create our own profile. So again, going into Tools, Profile, the first step is to give it a name. We already have a series of names here, and we're going to duplicate or make another version or a different version of what's called mine. I could call it This Is Mine. And then you enter in a value of how many profiled bits are going to make up this door. So let's go ahead and enter in 4. And then we will enter in the values of the offsets. So we will have a -1/8 quarter of an inch for the outside edge. 0.3, and just give it a name. This is the name that we will be using to create the profile. And then we would select the cutter profile that we want here. So let's go with the 5610 and go ahead and enter in another offset. And we'll use the same profile of 5610. We'll call this a raised panel, and let's go with a 5720. And one final selection here, I'm going to use, or attempt to use, maybe a V-bit to get us a sharper corner. So I'm going to go with 1.9, stepping in with a depth of just a, well, let's go with a 1/8 of an inch, and we could modify that later. The V-bit is called a V-bit, so just use the drop down and select that. Once we have everything entered in all of our sets, clicking Save, we'll update our profile that we have drawn in based on the values that we've entered in here. So the V-bit doesn't show up too much right here, just to exaggerate it a little. All right, so now we're going to adjust the V-bit to get closer to the edge. Right now we're not seeing anything showing up because it is following pretty much the same center as our profile bit here, which is located here, and we could see the change if I just make that a fairly large number. Let's go with 0.6 and then save. We can see that the center is over here. We want the edge of that bit to be closer to the edge over here. So let's go ahead and change that to 0.5 and hit save. Now we need to adjust that depth again. And we see that there is the V bit right there, and we could slowly change the value or the depth value or the different values to get a more image of what we're looking for. So right here, I think this is probably going to be pretty good, and we could use that V bit to create a sharp inside corner. So once that is done, we just say save. We've already had it saved. Go ahead and close the profiles. Now we have that profile to be able to be selected in the drop-down box that's called This Is Mine. So I'll just do a File, New. And for a square raised panel is what we're going to enter in, and using the new This Is Mine profile, adding it to the list, and we will calculate and nest. We can now see we have the different profile offsets that we've entered in to create our profile. There is the raised panel that we would use to toolpath on the line. So I'm going to go through and just select on the line, select a post processor, and click Save. The style, I'm going to go the same way on the line, select the post processor, and click Save. If we want to use that post processor for all, we could just click the All button. Once the door is entered in, we can click Calculate Nest. This will open up Part Nester for us to be able to create our tool pathing. And then we see that we have our feature list of a V-bit, RP, style, edge, and perimeter. These are the names that we've entered into Just Doors to create the profile. This is where we will go through the process of creating the toolpath to go with it. Some of these toolpaths I already have set up, and some of them I do not. And it looks like the V-bit is the only one that I do not have set up. I know that because off to the right side here, I am not getting, this layer is not set up for any of the other bits. So what I want to do to create the profile here is choose to cut on the inside using a V-bit that is a 90 degree. The tool diameter, let's go with a 0.5. Clicking Save as tool number or Save as a template. And once this has all been entered in, we can calculate and see what our profile is going to look like. It looks like I had one of those profiles set to be a pocketing toolpath, which is in turn giving us a shaker style door. So I'm going to go through each one of these and look to see which one that I may have had the pocket set to. And there it is, the V-bit. I'm going to uncheck pocket and save that toolpath and calculate again. We now have the toolpaths set up to be able to create the profile using the bits that we've selected in Just Doors. And we could see the V-bit is coming in and cleaning up and giving us a sharp inside corner. That's what this little line is doing there. All the others are toolpaths on the line, with the exception of our perimeter cut that is offset to the outside. So that is how to create a profile in Just Doors.